how much money comes out of 65 million views on long form YouTube?
I think my highest month on YouTube was about 380,000. There was one kid in particular that was like really rude to me. So in grade 11, I had some money saved up and I went and I bought his favorite car for myself. He never said anything to me again.
So after that month, what did the months following the 30K month look like?
600 or 700K in the first day. And that to this day is my most viral video. It has over 12 million views right now. My biggest financial concern was like, can I get chicken nuggets and fries at McDonald's today or not? And so I just had this epiphany of like, okay, like I can try to be somebody that I don't think I am, but that takes away from the whole reason I started making content in the first place. I can tell you this, it wasn't intentional. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to get the next video done.
Okay, in this episode, I talked to Andrew, otherwise known as 09 Shark Boy on YouTube. And this guy is crazy. His main YouTube channel now has over 5 million subs. He started this back when he was like under the age of 10, literally just posting Minecraft videos. Found a love for it, but actually ended up scaling it up into having a whole team coming out with these Minecraft videos every single day. Got it to over 400K in literally a single month. Was talking with some of the biggest Minecraft YouTubers that you know, and even some of the biggest YouTube strategists like Paddy Galloway. But ultimately, after something happened that really hurt his channel, he ended up having to switch business models that still revolves around YouTube, but no longer his own personal YouTube channel. So in this episode, we get into all the nitty-gritty of how he grew his channel and how he's using his YouTube skills to land clients that will pay him $5,000 a month retainers with no problem. So much to learn from this guy, and what an awesome episode. So without further ado, please enjoy the show. Boom. So you grew your Minecraft channel to 5 million subs, then pivoted to a new business model altogether that you scaled to 400K in a single month. Now, I have to learn about this. First of all, I was a huge Minecraft guy back in the days. Like I played MCSG, Bayesian Canadian. I don't know if anyone watching knows this.
The OGs.
But yeah, I saw your channel.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, this guy is OG as hell. So this is 12 years ago you posting. Is this actually your first video? Or is
That's
this
actually not my first video. No.
Okay.
So my first video was me in Florida in like a hotel room. And I was like embarrassed a couple years later. So I deleted it. So I actually don't even have that first video anymore.
So how old were you in this one when you met Tobuscus 12 years ago?
I was probably 10, probably.
Oh my god.
11. Yeah.
That's insane. So like one of the things that I think is just insane, like for anyone watching this, hopefully you can see, but if you can't, like I'm going to slowly scroll through this guy's channel and it's just like non-stop uploads from 12 years ago posting. Yeah. Like and this is insane.
You know, the crazy part too is a large majority of the videos are actually private. So there's more that go back. And like I think there's over 5,000 or 6,000 videos on that channel alone. Not all are public, but there's a lot.
And did you know that this is going to be something you would do when you were older, or a way to make money?
Not at all. I mean, I was a kid, right? And so growing up, like this was just like a way for me to like have fun. And so I grew up in the day where I had to record, like this was before like an Elgato capture card, but like if I wanted to record like Call of Duty Zombies, I like had to use a camera and like prop it up on like a bunch of books and like record my TV, and there'd be that like really weird line. So I was just having fun, man. And I think it was cool because like I had like 2 people that kept coming back to my videos, and I still know who they are to this day. And it just, I loved it. I don't know. I love making content.
How many posts did you make before you started getting like some form of consistent views?
To get like actual consistent views, like it was probably over 2,000 videos before I had gotten anything consistent, whatever you'd consider consistent. It was my first paycheck on YouTube was 2012, I want to say, or 2013. And it was about $87. And this was right around the time where I started doing Minecraft parodies. Yeah. And I remember I was having a sleepover at my cousin's house and we were playing video games, and I just uploaded this Minecraft parody and I tweeted it to a bunch of Minecraft YouTubers. And one at the time, his name is Basherverse,
Oh,
retweeted it,
yep.
and it went, in my standards, viral. And back in the day, I don't know if they still do it now, but you'd get like emails every time somebody like comments or subscribes on your page, and my phone was just blowing up. And I think I woke up to like 30K views, and it felt like a dream. It was the craziest dopamine feeling in the world.
Did you know before to make, like, what made you decide to make a Minecraft parody?
Okay, so all right, maybe I'll show you this, man, depending on how things go. But before Minecraft parodies, I used to do lip syncing, because it was a very big trend to essentially like take like a high pitched song and then like make a lip sync video behind it. And I saw this guy, I think his name was
like on Musically at the time,
like a
right?
Musically, yeah.
Okay.
There was a guy at the time that I used to watch. I think his name was That's So Jack, I think, and he was like huge off of that. So I'd be in my bedroom making lip sync videos, and I'd like put on a wig, or I'd like, just make this video. And obviously I came to realize, okay, like these aren't really getting any views. And then I made a transition into Minecraft content, and then I saw the parodies and songs. The problem was I had no money, like nothing. I couldn't afford to hire a vocalist. And so at first, one of my first handful of parodies was kind of like not a deal, but like I had met some guy, and I was like, hey man, if you can do this Minecraft parody, like I'd love to be able to work with you. I literally can't even afford to pay you $20. I don't have $20, but like, can we do something? And he did it, and it went up, and it just so happened it worked. And I actually did like, it's probably 6 or 7 parodies after that with that same guy, and he got paid, and shout outs in the description and in the credits and everything. So it was
okay.
cool.
Yeah. This was, I think, every kid's realization. I'm not going to lie. I tried to make a parody one time when I was a kid, and I went to like, cause I was like, dude, these, the Captain Sparkles one was so good. And I was like, how did they do this? And then I realized like, they hired people, like this was impossible to do without. So how did you find this guy? Was he the singer of the song?
Yeah, he was the singer, and he was on my YouTube feed. I don't know why, but he was doing a cover song of something else, and he just popped up on my feed at the time, and he had his email and his about page, and I just reached out to him, and he actually hit me back. I think like if I go through my old emails, I could probably find the original message where I emailed him. And this was a long time ago, but he managed to, like, he hit me back and we did it.
Yeah. I think people don't always realize that like literally a cold message or a cold DM can actually be life-changing. I got into YouTube automation because I made a video about how TikTok pays. This is when I was doing all my juggling videos and showing like how that worked. And some guy DM'd me and he was like, wait, what? You can get paid? Can you show me how to do this? So I just hopped on a Discord call with him. Turns out this guy was a vet making animal videos. He realized he could just repurpose stuff from YouTube into videos on TikTok.
That's so cool.
And that's how he got into automation. And then we started together. So
that's awesome. That's cool. That's
really I think cool. It's cool to see that in both these cases you can just literally like a cold message, no guarantee that the guy's even going to respond.
Not
just a shot in the dark, and it works.
Absolutely. It's so true, man.
Wait, so how old were you and this guy at the time though? You guys must have been like 14.
I was probably let me see if I can find the email for you, because we are on the most transparent channel in the world, so I want to make sure that we are giving transparent facts here.
We can pull this up and put it on screen as well.
Let me see. Okay, so I have emails. Wow, I don't know if you remember, man, but back in the day, YouTube used to have a message system. So the guy's name was Jamie Warnock. That was the vocalist's name. He still does music to this day. Shout out Jamie. He's a great guy. But I'm going through my old emails. Let me see when this focuses here. One sec. 2013 on YouTube service. Him and I were messaging back and forth. Let me try and find one that. Here's it. He sent me this message. Hold up. Yeah, man, I have to compress it and use send space, but I'm in class right now, so I'll have to do it later tonight. And this was us back. This was 2013. We were making these parodies. Oh, right here. 2013. Where is it? Minecraft parody, The Fighter, 2013, right there.
Wait, no way you guys made that one. Is that
I don't think like not the
big
OG
one was
no.
like the
No,
Ant
no.
Venom one. Okay, right.
Not the OG one. No,
I was like,
looked up
wait,
to
no
them
way.
at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not the OG.
Wait, so what was your first parody? Was that your first parody song though?
Oh my gosh, what was it? I'll be honest with you, man. I don't remember what the first parody song actually was called. It was a
Mm,
parody of Imagine Dragons, though. That's what I do remember. It was a. I
okay.
think I honestly like. I hate admitting to this, but I think I may have deleted it because it's not on my videos list. But
Oh,
it was. It was by Imagine Dragons. I do know that it was a parody of them.
okay. And then
Yeah.
so at the time, did you even plan? Did you know this was a way to make money?
No, dude. Like I, what I thought was really cool growing up. So I was a big Xbox 360 player,
Mhm.
and back in the day, I was a part of several different clans. And my dream back in the day was to join FaZe. That's what I actually wanted to do. I
Mhm.
wanted to be in FaZe clan. So I thought it was really cool that FaZe Clan and Machinima had this YouTube channel where these gamers were just like showcasing clips and tricks and all this stuff from video games. And I was like, dude, that is so cool. Like I want to be there with them. And I had no idea. Like I knew, like, okay, well, somehow there's going to be money, but like truth be told, in the back of my head wasn't financials because it was a passion. I know that sounds cliche, but I'm also
Yeah.
like 13 years old, and so like
Yeah.
really
You also
money's
were
not.
posting these videos for so many years before you knew it could make money, really.
Exactly. And like there was like my biggest financial concern was like, can I get chicken nuggets and fries at McDonald's today or not? Like, can I? And if not, I have to beg mom for it. And like, so there wasn't an incentive. I didn't have to, it wasn't like I was paying rent or anything. And this was also such an older time of YouTube too, where, uh, you needed to be in a network to get paid. Like it was before Google AdSense just paid out. You had to be a part of a
Mhm.
network. Like it was a very older time of the platform. And it's cool to see how things changed over the years. I definitely noticed that this can be a job and a business, and that was something I had to go through with my parents. Um, but yeah, I back then, not at all, not at all.
But so I assume though you started scaling up the music videos and doing more and more and trying to get more and more views, right?
Yeah. So what
Did
I
you
did
run
is,
that as a business, even if the intention wasn't, to make money? But
yeah, you know what? I think I did run that as a business because I knew the parodies got a lot of views, and I think I treated them as a way to get attention onto my page, and then hopefully convert people to watch my normal gaming videos because I couldn't afford to make a parody every day. And it was a good way to get. It was like my first taste at social hacking back in the day,
Mhm.
taking like a popular name and a popular song and a popular game and kind of combining them together. But my hope, again, like this is where the business side of it kind of falls through because I just hoped that people would watch my other videos. There was no like, okay,
Right.
well, if I post this parody, maybe I do behind the scenes and maybe I do a cool video like this, right? Like there was no like move. It
Mhm.
was more of like, okay, if I post this parody, I hope I get, 1,000 more subscribers and those people, 200 of them will come and watch my videos.
Yeah.
And then there was a point where I had to stop doing parodies because they all got copyrighted. And when there was financials on the table, I realized I was like, okay, like these parodies do get views, but they always get copyrighted, and the retention on them is, pretty low. And anytime I sold them, I tried selling them on these other websites. People can like, download, pay for them, whatever. And I was like, okay, well, people don't really care about Minecraft parodies. So this was right around the time where I just started making role play videos. So Minecraft like stories essentially.
Mhm.
And we did. Are you familiar with Maze Runner? Like the
Like
the
the
show,
movie.
the
Yeah.
movie? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we started with Maze Runner, and it was just me and my friends, and like I played a character in the Maze Runner, and then we had another person play a character in the Maze Runner, and it was like all of us just like making
Oh
this
yeah.
kind of like role play.
Let me pull this up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mazer. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
these really started to farm views.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
yeah. So the first thing I was thinking is like probably back in the time when you were using that strat to like post, these uh parodies to get followers, that
Mhm.
probably worked back in the day, or
It
at
did
least
back
way
in the
more
day.
than it does now,
Oh yeah.
because like algorithms were so much more follower based, and now it's just pure interest based. But
Absolutely.
I think the first thing, what you seem to catch on to really early, was just the idea of trend jacking, actually, which is just that, like, all right, you have something that's already popular, you reformat it to a different audience, but the idea is already popular and validated.
Mhm.
And that went super viral multiple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So was this the Maze Runner? Did you run this up for like a while and
So
stuff like this?
what's funny was the Maze Runner
Yeah,
is
Fast and
where,
Furious.
yeah, we started Fast and the Furious. I think actually, yeah, that I enjoyed the Fast and, oh my God, that server, man. I have such a backstory with that server.
Wait,
We
so
actually
this is
like,
just you doing like the first season 1 episode 1 of Fast and Furious in Minecraft.
yeah,
So you're essentially just acting. Like,
exactly. We were just acting.
okay.
But funny thing with that server, we actually spent almost 2.5 years. So I put together a team of friends that we would record with. And some people were builders and one person was a developer. And we were like, hey, why don't we try to make GTA in Minecraft, like an actual GTA server where you can buy cars, you can have apartments, you can do all that stuff. And we spent 3 years building what was called Grand Craft Auto. And it launched. It worked. The map was massive. Mind you, this is not something we all paid for. This was a collaborative effect from all of us. And long story short, the gentleman who had the backup of all the files, something happened. His PC got wiped, something, God knows what. Every 3 years of work gone. Everything was gone. And the only thing I have to show for it is videos now. And it's so sad because I remember staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning building a house in Minecraft that people could buy in this Minecraft server.
That's crazy.
I know.
Wait, so what was the business elements of all those things like? Like as you went from the music videos, like how much did you get that to before you went to Maze Runner content? And then you were like, okay, can make money as well.
Mm-hmm. So what I needed, the music videos took too long to produce, waiting for vocals, writing lyrics, shooting the music videos. That would take, like if we were doing it quickly, it'd take about a week. So that was right around the time where I started doing role plays. And role play, we'll just call them stories, right? Because role play sounds like a weird word. We were just doing these like stories and reenacting. And I started this series called Crafting Dead. And it was just me. It was one-man show. And I actually tweeted out my episode to another popular creator at the time named SGC Barbarian, who is an absolute OG, nothing but love and respect for him. And he actually invited me to be on his series. And at the time he had like 200,000 subscribers. And I remember sitting in bed at my dad's house. And when he responded to my tweet and followed me on Twitter, I'm not even lying, I started just pissing tears because I was like, oh my God, like this YouTuber wants me to collaborate with him. So anyways, I was introduced into his series. And this was right around the time where I was transitioning out of the music videos because they took too long. Whereas a Crafting Dead roleplay would take me 2 hours to make. And
were the music videos still profitable most of the time?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The music video had to be like, we're talking about, this is a time where Ant Venom and Captain Sparkles were dropping their parodies. And that was like kind of the standard. And they would get like millions of views. And I just couldn't compete with that. So like, sure, mine may have gotten 100K. But the video itself's 3 minutes long. The ad revenue, if it's even collected, generates very little. So I needed something else than that.
Okay. And then, wait, you were saying how you got into the, not the Grand Craft Auto, but the one after that.
Yeah, the Crafting Dead series.
Oh, yeah.
And so at the time I was in freshman year of high school at this point, and YouTube was, or I think it was just going into freshman year. I think it was like the summer going into freshman year of high school. And I was introduced into this Crafting Dead role play. And I learned, like, I met some of the biggest YouTubers now back then. Like Afmal, for example, she was in Crafting Dead. Sky Does Minecraft, he was in Crafting Dead. And I was like, oh my God, like I was like this little kid. And I'm like, I'm around all these people I watch. It was the weirdest feeling because they don't know who I am, but I felt like I knew everything about them. Like I knew what their dogs' names were. I didn't say that, but I did. Yeah. And right around that time is where things started picking up a little bit. And I started what now changed everything for my YouTube channel. And it was a roleplay series called School. The reason I wanted to do School was because I was going into freshman year of high school. And I think my first episode of it went up in August, right before I actually started. Right before I
How far down am I going to have to scroll to find this?
God. Honestly, if you just search up Minecraft School 09 Sharkboy, it'll probably pop up. I think you might have passed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, potentially. This timeline is crazy. Yeah, I see a drone thumbnail. It's definitely before that. Yeah, keep going up.
Star Wars roleplay.
Star Wars, yeah. Where was it? There's somewhere here where Minecraft School started, and that's the series. That first video is what changed everything. No, it's not the Portal video.
False High School. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I did have more subs. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was right
there. We go.
All right, so that first episode right there.
Yeah. Okay.
That first episode, bro. I went to bed and I woke up and this video had like 150,000 views, and I was flipping out when I woke up and saw that. And now, granted, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, like, Minecraft school, love at first sight. What is this? But we were essentially trying to reenact what it was like to be in high school with our friends. And we were just like silly kids just having fun.
Wait, oh my God, you got the bacon on the. Wait, how did you even make these animations?
That was in game. Those were all just mods.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So these storylines were all you and your friends came up with just based on your actual lived experience in high school?
Kind of, but what was funny about this is there was actually about
there's an oven. What mod is this?
I don't even know if they were still around, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. There was a fan base that started following me that was really, really, they were such a great group of people, and they were probably at the time maybe 2 or 3 years younger than I was. And so I was, I don't know, 13 or 14, and they must have been like 11 at the time, but they all played Minecraft. And so we had a team of like 20 people, like 20 kids that will all sit in this TeamSpeak server and like script these videos, build the videos, get camera angles for the videos, film the videos. Like, it was a whole operation. And so when you just see like 2 or 3 people here, there's like,
I assume no one was being paid or anything at the time.
No, nobody was making money.
Loved to do. Yeah.
This was all pure love and joy. And it was a lot of the OGs here.
That's really interesting. So something I have to ask, I saw this dude. There's this dude I watch sometimes on TikTok. He just shows up on my feed occasionally. He goes by Squid. Not sure if you've heard of this guy. He had a TikTok. He talks about like, I don't know, his college experience, being like a frat, leader or whatever the hell, starting a business. One of the things videos he made that went viral was he talked about how a lot of the people in the Minecraft days, like the MCSG, the factions, all of these turned out to be like big entrepreneurs or like out in this space. Yeah. Do you find that to be true?
Some yes, some no. Most no, but some yes. I know so many people, man, that over the years have just vanished. And it's sad because they're genuinely good people and they had really good things going for them, but they just didn't care about the business stuff. And like, that's fine. But I think some creators have that in them and some don't. And it's kind of just like, it really comes down to like what their intention was. And like, I think back then my intention was like, I really loved doing this. Hence the reason I did it for so long, that I couldn't see myself doing anything else but that. So as long as I could buy my food and pay my phone bill, I was happy. It was like a $200 a month upkeep at that point.
Yeah. But you're still at that age with the high school parodies, putting together like actual full-scale productions, managing a team of people. I know this is like silly because it's like, but that is what you are doing. Like, yeah, that definitely carries over, I feel like.
I think there's definitely some things that, I think everything happens for a reason, right? So there's clearly a reason we were doing it back then. I can tell you this, it wasn't intentional. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to get the next video done. And so, just kind of pushing the needle forward, but it wasn't like intentional, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It makes complete sense. So, okay. What is it after here? You had the school videos. Yeah. I assume lots of other like just.
Oh yeah. This seems like it worked
really well.
So this is where everything changed. That first school video you saw, that video, that month, I think if you check, it came out in, I want to say it was like right when school starts, whether it was right before or right after. I don't remember. It could be like August or October, one of the other. But that month was my first biggest month. And I think I was either 13 or 14 and the channel had made 30 grand that month. And this is back in the day.
From this like string of videos.
That chain of videos. Yeah. So that school video brought all the attention, and then all the role play connoisseurs watched a bunch of the other role plays I was posting. And like, I remember when the PayPal went through, because I got paid through an MCN back then, I told my mom, and she just like, huh? Like, she didn't get it. She didn't get it. And like, I didn't come from a rich family by any means. And so I think it took a moment for her to kind of realize, but yeah, it was interesting. And so this is where it all started.
What were your paychecks looking up to this point?
Like genuinely like maybe $800 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just blew up.
And you were 14.
I was 13, 14-ish.
That's insane. So 30K in a month at 14 with zero production costs because your friends are just like chilling. Okay. And so is that when you realized like, holy shit, this is like, I don't even think at 14 I would be able to like understand the significance there, but it seems like your mom did. Did you guys talk as a family and like realize like, holy, wait, this is actually like a way to make money, or like?
Yes and no. My mom was very laid back with it, even to this day. Like, she doesn't really care. She's just so happy to be my mom. You know, she doesn't really care too much about the business stuff. She just wants to hang out. And like, I love her for that. My dad, on the other hand, was always pushing me to go.
How do we turn a profit? Like,
yeah, well, no, you know what? My dad, so my parents split when I was young. And so my dad kind of lost everything. And then my mom was kind of restarting her life. And so my dad was what everybody always says, right? Like, go to college, you're going to do this, you're going to go do that. And like, okay, I'm not going to fight you on it. Like, if I have nothing going on, fair play. But he didn't believe it was real. And like, he was just like, no, you're not. Like, no, you're not. Like, I'll believe it when I can see it in a bank account kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it took him a while. I think it took him like a year and a half to be like, wait, this is still a thing. Like, this is still because like, I remember I had like this crappy old Lenovo laptop that I would do everything on. And like, I needed to go buy a computer. And so I went to Best Buy at the time and I spent like $1,200 on a computer, and it wasn't my parents' money. And like, he started, you know, clicking into like, okay, what's going on here? And then, truth be told, my dad probably became the biggest supporter behind it over time. Especially, he saw there was something. But there was one instance in particular where we were sitting down at the food court, and he was like, you know, I don't care how much money that you make doing this online video stuff, I still want you to go to college. He's like, what if people stop watching your videos? And I said, Dad, my dad has a trucking business. I said, Dad, what if people stop calling you for deliveries? And he kind of just paused. And since then, he got it. He was like, yeah, like seriously, like that was it. And he's supported the endeavors ever since. And he does a lot of the behind the scenes for a lot of stuff now for me, but he's been there. He gets it now. So
that's crazy. So after that month, what did the months following that at 14 years old, the 30K month look like?
I think like the month after was probably like 10 or 11, and then it stagnated. It was probably like around 4 or 5, which was phenomenal still. Like a 14-year-old can't find ways to spend that kind of money. And so for me, it was just like, I was making like 4 or 5K a month. And the only thing I'd spend my money on was CSGO cases and food at the time. Mm-hmm. And that was it.
Did you make videos about CSGO once you started playing it?
I
swear this is like every kid's progression. I took the exact same progression. Minecraft to CSGO to a bit of Rocket League, PUBG, and then a little bit of Valorant, and that was about
I did case openings, but I never filmed a competitive game or anything, but I did case openings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10K or 5K a month, getting it to CSGO. Mm-hmm. And then when did you realize like for sure like this is going to be did you end up going to college first of all?
No. So
is this when you had your discussion with your dad?
I had the discussion with my dad around grade 11. Mm-hmm. And so grade 9 and grade 10 is where I had this like kind of I'll call it stagnant, but it wasn't. It was still very good. It was between the 5 to about 15 a month in grade 9 and 10. Grade 11 is where I kind of, in between that. So I went to my very first convention in grade 9. And it was in Florida, and it was called GamesCon, I believe it was. And that's actually where I met 2 of my now to this day best friends who are also other YouTubers. And we all at the time had 10,000 subs or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so when I met them, I was like, because it was hard to relate to people, especially like with my friends at school, because nobody was doing YouTube necessarily. They all just like wanted to go play football, or they wanted to, play video games, right? Which is fine. And I did that with them too. But like, I had no one to talk to about YouTube. So I went to this convention, and that's where I met SGC Barbarian for the first time. And I had my first fan meet and greet. And in my head, I'm like, I'm 14. Like, the kids lining up here are 14. Like, I'm signing this. I thought I was on top of the world, but I met my now best friends in YouTube through that convention. And we kind of stuck together the entire time. Like we started, at the time it was TeamSpeak and not Discord. And we would just sit in TeamSpeak and we would strategize and we would work on our thumbnails and we would that's where it really became something.
Yeah.
And we would we would be looking at trends and all that stuff. And from grade 11 to grade 12, I had to really kind of focus in, because it was either I make this YouTube stuff work and I pursue this full time, or I'm going to have to go to college. And so I think around that time, grade 11 and grade 12, I'd scaled the channel to, it was averaging again, that 20 to 35K a month at the time with very little overhead. And then right after I graduated, actually 17 years old, there was this kid in grade 9 that used to bully me. So the word about me doing YouTube went around. People found out. And it wasn't me opening my mouth either. People just found out. And I would get picked on like crazy. We had these morning announcements at school. And one of them was oh, congratulations to 09 Shark Boy for hitting 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I'm sitting in class and I just went tomato red. I was so embarrassed because it was it wasn't cool to play Minecraft in high school. Right. And you have all the football guys that are actually the football guys were the cool ones. There's just these random kids that would just try and pick on me. But there was one kid in particular that was really rude to me. And I remember in grade 9, he told me what his favorite car was, because him and I used to be friends. And then he found out I did Minecraft and he started picking on me. Mm-hmm. And so in grade 11, I had some money saved up and I went and I bought his favorite car for myself. And it was a Nissan GTR at the time. And so I'm in grade 11 rolling up in at the time, $80,000 car. And he never said anything to me again.
What a revenge story. That's good.
It felt good at the time.
That's good. What did he say to you about your channel?
Nothing. That was it.
He just stopped.
He just stopped. And I was like, damn, that kind of sucks. I was hoping for one of those movie moments where we have that intense stare down or something. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. So, and then, I graduated high school and that's where it got real.
And so what was your Minecraft channel doing at the time when you graduated? Was that still, but first of all, I do want to touch on, you had essentially a group. I don't know if how much Mr. Beast you watch. I mainly watch his strategy videos more than anything. This feels to me exactly like what happened with him, which is he said for a whole year, basically, he just from the second he woke up to the second he went to sleep, talked to a group of 4 close friends who are all similar sized channels about YouTube. It seems like that was what you did with Minecraft.
Yeah.
Gearing into,
exact same thing.
Grade 11. And what did that do for your channel?
Everything. I learned the game, and I learned because I was able to talk to other people that were trying to learn too. And it was ironic because I saw that same clip from Mr. Beast and I almost thought it was a doppelganger, because I was we did the same thing. That's what me and my friends did. And it wasn't because we were intentionally trying to network or collaborate. We were just trying to get better and critique each other. And my one friend had an eye for thumbnails. The other friend had an eye for a creative thing in the video. And I had an eye for a really good title. And we all complemented each other. And it worked out. And for us, none of this was work. None of us hated this. We loved this. We were all able to come home from school, because we were all in high school at the time, and jump on TeamSpeak and just start talking YouTube literally till 2, 3, 4 a.m. every single night.
Mm-hmm. What did you learn from that group? In the nitty gritty of YouTube.
So
if I went on your channel, would I be able to see
before
versus after and be able to clearly tell
for sure
what changed?
So one big thing that we all caught on to back in the day was doing your tags and your SEO. So a big thing was tags, actually keyword stuffing your tags with applicable search terms. And so we used to do that back when we were transitioning to I don't even know what period this was, but I know thumbnails was a big one. And then also topics. So you'll start to realize when you go back to my first couple videos, they were all very random. Whereas now we were trying to pick up topics. So we would search if there was a new Superman movie coming out, for example, in a month, we knew to start a Superman role play because the search volume was going to be higher on that. And so we had an eye to start using Google Trends and just track the amount of searches every single month. Now, like in today's day and age, that sounds like basic, but back then that was genuinely a cutting edge advantage that we had, because if we updated our tags on a video and we updated our thumbnails and we updated our titles and we pushed a new series, it would almost guarantee it to do well to the standards of what well was back then. And so like I learned everything I know right now about YouTube from being in that group. We learned that longer videos back in the day, especially, you'll notice there was a point where my role play videos started to get very long and very little editing. And it was because we didn't need to over edit these videos, because the audience that was watching it would watch them thoroughly and all the way through. And so there was like all these little tactics that we started to pick up on that we just applied, and we kept growing with it.
And at this point, you were posting so frequently. How much did you have still, the team that you were working with or that you grew up helping you with to make these videos, and were they actually being paid? Like, that's, I feel like, the business aspect of it, where it goes from, all right, I liked making videos, to like, all right, we got to figure out how to mass produce these videos as good as possible to maximize the views.
For sure. So that old team, which, by the way, I love them all. I follow all of them on Twitter, but there was something that had happened with another creator that I was shooting content with at the time.
There was some beef.
It was something bad. I won't talk about it. It was bad, but the group ended up splitting up, and there's one individual from that group that stayed alongside. Well, and when I say split up, by the way, I don't mean like everybody hates each other kind of thing, but there was one character in the group that made everything sour. And so everybody kind of said, hey, I'm going to go focus on my studies. I'm going to focus on this, hey, I'm still down to help, whatever. And so most people split. But there's one individual in particular that stayed, and he still to this day works with me. And his name is Mogi. He's from Norway, and I've been working with him for just as long as I've been doing YouTube, pretty much. And like, he's been full time with me for over a decade now.
And what elements does he do for your channel?
Everything Minecraft, bro. This guy's a wizard to this day. Like, he's a wizard. He can do some of the craziest builds. He sets everything up. He gets all the videos. Like, I could say, hey, Mogi, I have this really ridiculous idea to do this. And he'll go, cool, I got you. I know exactly what to do. And I know how to make it really good. Okay, cool. And then like he's a wizard at this stuff. And so he's been with me for such a long time. And he's essentially, without Mogi, the channel would not be where it is to this day. So he's been getting paid for a long time, and I've always made sure he's taken care of and he's good.
And then do you have a thumbnail guy as well? Like an editor? Like, you had to have an editor at this point, right?
Yeah. So okay. I have an editor. I had an editor now at this point. And so the thumbnail people, we always kind of switched in and out, because I was still trying to, like, here's the thing. So out of my friend group, the 3 that I was working with, there was my one friend, Nathan, who was the bigger one at the time. And then there was me and my friend, George, who were pretty much the exact same size. And we were trying to figure out, like, how do we get like 200K views on a video? Like, what is that? What do we have to change? And so we kept going through different styles, like cartoon thumbnails or realistic thumbnails. And we were just trying to find our way. And so thumbnail makers weren't necessarily consistently the same person, but I did hire an editor. And that same editor is still with me to this day. And his name is Twan. He's from the Netherlands, and he's been with me for, again, like a decade now. He is literally, him and Mogi are the only reason the channel is where it is to this day. Without them, it would not be possible. But every single piece of content you see, even to this day, Twan is editing it. Every single piece.
Do you have another editor still, or just one guy?
We have, for the Minecraft channel, we have one editor. For the other stuff we do, we have about 4 or 5 other editors.
Okay, wow. Okay, so we'll get into that. But that was, and were these also people, these are people that you just knew from really far back in the day that made it easy to...
Yeah, I mean, the editors, so Twan in particular, I got connected with him through another creator. And because I put out a tweet saying, hey, I'm looking for an editor. My budget's $15 a video, because this is what this is what the standard was back in the day. And I had this guy follow me, and he's like, hey, I'll do it. Yada, yada, yada. We hit it off, and he went above and beyond. And we ended up working a really good deal. And he was super happy with it too, because he actually, so Twan, that same guy, was actually the creative director behind Kwebbelkop and Jelly. He actually lived with them, and he was in their videos and stuff. And so when I figured that out, I was like, oh my God, like, this guy works with YouTubers that have millions of subs. And I had like 200K at the time. And so he like really put me on and like showed me how to get my green screen lighting proper, and like how to do my OBS to make it look like this and all this stuff. So he really put me on to a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's crazy. So you grew this channel, and then I have to know when you pivoted to a new business model. Like, how long did you run with this Minecraft thing for, and just keep it going until you were like, I want to try something different, or whatever prompted that?
It was 2022 was our biggest year on that page.
Mm-hmm.
And the end of 2022 leading into 2023 is where I started my new business. And so this was a point where our team, just for the Minecraft channel, we were uploading daily videos at this point. We had developers, multiple developers. We had animators. We had multiple editors. We had multiple builders. Like we probably had 18 to 20 people running one Minecraft channel.
Did you have multiple channels at this point as well? For
I had
Minecraft?
multiple channels. Yes, we had a vlog channel at the time as well too.
I must have missed something then. When did you decide to like try to scale into multiple channels?
Actually, I kind of forgot about the vlog channel because I stopped it a while ago. But so my friend Nathan started vlogs, and so did my friend George, and they were like, "Yo, and this is okay." So by the way, again, this was years ago, and my one friend Nathan was like, "You do understand there's a cap in Minecraft?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, let's just say there's only 50 million people that actually watch Minecraft. There's only 20 of those that watch, try not to laugh videos in Minecraft." And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. So if my max capacity is say 20 million views, I'm capping myself. He's like, yes, you need to pivot to something else. And so he had this epiphany, and then I had this epiphany, and that's where I started my real life channel. And we would just do, Fruit Ninja in real life, or what's in the box challenge and stuff like that back in the day. But that's where I started pivoting. But the thing with real life content is it is so much harder than gaming, because you actually have to go somewhere and do something, right? And so there was so much more that had to get done for it. And I think I ran my vlog channel for about 4 years until I decided to pull the plug on it, only because of really two things. One, security. Like there were people literally coming to my house multiple times. And another one was the fact that I wasn't really having all that much fun with it, because at the time I was competing with people this was Mr. Beast come up era. And I'm like, well, dude, I can't give a homeless guy $20,000. Like, that's just not, And so I just had this epiphany of like, okay, like I can try to be somebody that I don't think I am, and maybe build this page, but that takes away from the whole reason I started making content in the first place. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't feel authentic to myself. And so I pulled the plug.
Yeah. What happened when people showed up at your house?
Dude, depends. We had people knocking on our doors. Obviously, we had people looking through our windows. I had one time I was at a friend's house. We had somebody come by and slash my tires. We had people, I have those Ring doorbell cameras. And at the time I had a roommate that was living with me that was in the videos, and we had somebody come to the door and literally say, oh my God, like, are you the Shark House? Like, I love your videos. I use Google Maps to find you guys because I recognize the convenience store in the house right there. So I just followed it through Google Maps and I found you. And my friend was there like, what is going on?
No,
and
that's crazy.
It just got so weird, man. Because like I have no problem. Like I will gladly talk to people. I'll take pictures. Like I'm not that type of guy. Like to get angry.
You're not too Hollywood, yeah.
No, that stuff's stupid, bro. This stuff is so stupid. But like my house is the only place where I can kind of disconnect from that stuff, and like that's where I draw that line. Like I really love my privacy. I love my peace. And so like I have no issues talking to people outside of my house, but when you come knocking on my house, like, dude, this is Andrew now, not the YouTuber. Like I want to be, I just want to be myself right now.
Yeah, it's so scary. You see the videos where someone will be like, I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok. Someone will take a video and just be like, yo, where am I? And then some guy duets it and he's like, and then he does this whole analysis, and I was like, what? I'm like, that is
they just
terrible.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, so that's kind of why I started the vlog content, or I stopped it. And I wanted to pursue something I was like genuinely passionate for. But at this time, this was the biggest time for our gaming channel. Like I've never touched those stats since that day. Like that was our biggest. And I think we averaged 65 or 67 million long form views a month on our Minecraft page at the time, which was killer. And like, you know, brand deals were coming in and all these things were coming in at the time. And our team was bigger than ever. Production was bigger than ever. And just like, we were like on top of the world. And then I essentially sold my channel. I didn't sell it. I sold the catalog.
Yeah. Wait, that has to be, just to confirm also, I assume that's because of COVID, most likely, right? Why
COVID was a big contribution, but we also made a large, so this is actually a transition that you can see if you look at my channel. So I needed to make, again, YouTube is peaks and valleys, right? And so I really wanted to shoot for the stars. And so I remember I hired at the time, before he was big, Patty Galloway to be a creative strategist for my channel. This was before Patty was Patty, by the way. Like, this is OG Patty. And I think he charged me like $100 for like a week of consultation. I was like, say less, let's do it. And now it's like $2,000 for one call or something like that. So I hired him, and I jumped on a call. He's like, all right, listen, this is what we're going to do. XYZ, here's why. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me try it out. And I did it. And I remember the first video I made a switch on blew up. And it was just like reigniting that Minecraft school role play feeling where I was like, oh my God, I got this. I'm holding on to this. And I remember I kept uploading videos, and then I uploaded this.
What did he tell you to do differently?
He told me at the time, because I was doing cartoon thumbnails. Like, they were like, so it was Minecraft, but it looked like it was animated. So you would have used like Cinema 4D to like, you know, take a rig of a character and like make them look like they're doing something in game. He said to me, he's like, you need to treat the thumbnail as if it actually happened and it's a real screenshot. So as if like some kids playing Minecraft and they actually saw that. I was like, okay, that makes sense. I can see the appeal. Let me try and execute on that. And so I uploaded a video. It was like, I was doing like, I had to like build a base and survive like a volcano in Minecraft. I called it Testing Natural Disasters. And that video, I think, did like 600 or 700K in the first day. And that, to this day, is my most viral video. It has over 12 million views right now.
And that was the difference between animating what it would look like in a thumbnail versus actually just taking a screenshot from in-game and using that as the thumbnail.
Exactly.
Let me guess. And the second version, just taking a screenshot in game, was much lower effort, probably. Too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, way much less effort, and it was like so easy that I almost felt like I was doing something wrong. I was like, how is this gonna get views? But it did. Like, our CTRs, we were touching, like, no joke, like a 17% CTR, and at the time they would be like 200K impressions in the first hour. It was ridiculous, and so we just kept running with it, and so we were uploading daily at the time, and we just kept going, and we scaled the page, and the rest is history.
Yeah. I think what's so fascinating about that is I think it's doing what the core of a thumbnail is supposed to do, which is, even in my opinion, actually even more than just get clicks. A thumbnail needs to set expectations that the video will meet and exceed. Absolutely. And like, I think like this is such a fatal flaw. I see some people, like, they'll have a really professional thumbnail and then the video will be unprofessionally edited, or the reverse. They'll have a unprofessional and it's like, dude, the person who clicked on that video was gonna watch if the video met the expectations of something that looked professional. But now it's not, and now they're like, what the hell? You know, and then they click off, even though you got them to click.
Yeah.
What see, most people don't know this. When you A/B test on, like, YouTube has like an A/B test option now, for those watching that don't know, like, they don't actually test which one gets the highest click-through rate. They test which one gets the highest share of total watch time. And what that stat is really the click-through rate times the average view duration. So you don't just want something that gets a high click-through rate. It needs to get a high click-through rate and actually lead people to watch the video, which, if the thumbnail doesn't set correct expectations, they'll click off. They'll drop off the video early because what they clicked on, they're not actually getting what they expected from the thumbnail.
Exactly. This was when we were scaling the page too. Something very interesting that still works to this day, by the way, is a strategy that me and my friends like to call the reduce, reuse, and recycle strategy. And it all is done with end cards. So what we used to do back in the day, and especially now, like, people still utilize it now, but if you can we called it a viewer loop, right? If we can get somebody to watch our video, get to the end card, and then be incentivized to click the next video, that ups your AVPV, right? So people continue watching more of your content, but you get people in this viewer cycle. And the higher that metric went, the more our content was pushed, because YouTube was being told, this creator is making great videos and we want to keep pushing this. So what we
Wait,
would do
what is
back
the
then,
stat you said? AV.
AVPV, your average view per viewer. So
Okay.
it would essentially, like, say you, for instance, like you might,
New viewer to the channel, never seen this guy before.
Exactly.
How many videos of this person's channel did that new viewer actually watch?
Exactly. So what we would do is we would have all of our videos, for example, like I started a scary Minecraft trend. And it was just like hunting these lores and scary things in Minecraft that we would do. But at the end card, we would say, thanks so much for watching. Go and click right there to see how we investigated da 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 da. And it was just like a very simple call to action. Because another big thing too is that a large majority of our viewers were on TV. And so autoplay on TV is a very common thing. So if we were able to get either the people or YouTube to autoplay our next video or get people into a playlist so they keep autoplaying down, we were getting like crazy average view per viewer percentages, which was pushing our content widespread everywhere. So something that I know people do right now still is at your end card, instead of just suggesting like a random video, you want to put a winner that has done exceptionally well, that has won over a lot of subscribers or a lot of people, because chances are there's a reason that video is doing really well for you in subscriptions or in feedback or in comments or in engagement, because people really like it. So if people organically find this podcast, for example, right, and at the end of it, they're like, okay, cool, that was great. But you redirect them or you call them to go to your best video that you've ever done. Chances are you're going to start getting them in that loop and you're going to start building an even bigger following. And so that was something that we used to do a lot back in the day, but it was very untapped back then. I think now a lot more people do it though.
So on my YouTube channel, at the end, I normally just say, like, if you support my mission of transparency, please consider subscribing and going to my Discord. Would it be more effective for me to say, I recommend you watch this video on my channel, which, shows how to do this side hustle, and refer them maybe to the one that blew up, which I guess is how people really know me from and what gave them the best impression of me.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, like, if your intention is to grow your channel, yes. If your intention is to grow your Discord, then no. Right. So I think the best approach is, like, depending on what you are looking to achieve, like maybe you're like, okay, Discord, I'm happy with it, I want to just push the channel some more, then yeah, do that. But you can always switch it down the line. Like, you can always, like, say 3 months from now, you did that and now you want to go back to pushing your Discord. You can do that too after.
Okay. And then, so what were all the revenue sources from your channel at this time? Like, let's say peak 2022, how many views a month did you have? 65 million, you said?
It was 65 or 67 million, give or take, something like that.
And how much money comes out of 65 million views on long form YouTube?
At the time, it was, I think my highest month on YouTube was about 380,000, give or take.
Damn.
And that was before brand deals. That was just ad revenue.
Damn. Okay. And then what did brand deals add to that?
Give or take, probably another 80-ish at the time, because brand deals were literally spawning out of thin air at that point, though. Like, I don't even know how they came. I'd wake up in the inbox and, here's another brand deal that somebody would email me inquiring about.
What types of companies were active on a Minecraft channel?
Raid Shadow Legends, AMD, NordVPN, a bunch of gaming companies. Actually, one of our biggest partners, and I love working with them, is Nintendo. And so, like, we've been working with Nintendo for like 3 or 4 years now at this point, and they've been amazing to us. But they were one of them as well.
That's so funny. It's like they're tapping into the Minecraft viewer base to try to drag people out of Minecraft and into a different video game.
Yeah, I mean, they had a good approach for it, that's for sure. But they've been nothing but awesome to us. Like, I love working with them. They're great.
Awesome, yeah. And then, were there any other sources of revenue?
I had merchandise at the time, but like I'd say merch probably was doing maybe 10 or 15 a month. But in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't as comparable to the revenue or the brand deals, but it was still doing exceptionally well. I wish, what's crazy, man? I'll tell your viewers this, man. And this is something I wish I did back then. Don't sell t-shirts. Okay. Don't sell merch. I'm going to put you onto some sauce where I'm telling you, sell something unique, sell an action figure, sell something like this. Okay. Like an action figure, sell a comic book. The Minecraft guys right now that I know that are selling comic books or action figures are making ridiculous money because it's not a t-shirt. Kids are bored of t-shirts, but they would love to have that little Lego action figure on their desk.
Mm-hmm.
It just has such a bigger appeal. So like if you are an entertainer, instead of selling merch, sell something else. And like I know these two people in particular were doing like $400K a month during December in just sales for their action figure or their comic books before ad revenue, before brand deals.
What do you think the psychology behind that is?
I just think it's different. I think it's different. And like when people see that, it's not just another t-shirt. Cause like, think about it too. Like when the demographic that watched our gaming videos were kids, and kids loved video games, they didn't love shirts, right? Like they loved shirts that said their favorite YouTubers on them. But if you went to the mall with your mom and dad, you're not dragging them to go buy a new pair of socks or a new t-shirt. You're dragging them into the game store or to the action figure store or somewhere that's kid, adjusted to. And so I think they recognize, I didn't recognize that. I didn't see that. And I think there's just a bigger appeal for it because it's something that kids actually play with. Like they like action figures, right? Whereas a t-shirt, it's just something else that mom and dad are going to have to clean when they get a ketchup stain on, right? It was just something, but yeah. So that's a big thing right now is like different products.
I feel like it also becomes a collectible kind of when you have like an action figure. It's like, same as you said, like not another. It's not just like another T-shirt. It's exactly like one of a kind, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that all went crazy. Why'd you decide to pivot at some point?
So as much as it was making a lot of money, my biggest fear, and this was always my biggest fear about YouTube, was the inconsistency of it. Because at this point, like before these big months, I was still full-time YouTube. I had already bought a home from YouTube. I had already done a handful of things from YouTube content. But I just knew that I was like, okay, like there's months where you feel like you're on top of the world and you did great for yourself. But it's a lot different when you have mouths to feed behind you. Because like, quite frankly, and this is something I learned early on too, is star players require star money. So if you want to have A players in your corner, you need to pay them well, really well. You can't get away with doing $500 a month stuff that people might be able to get away with now, but down the line, you can't get away with that. And so we were paying out just on the Minecraft channel alone, close to 100K a month in expenses. And probably 70K of that was payroll. And it was because we had some really talented people there. But I knew in the back of my head, I was like, okay, this is good, but I need to build outside of this only because of that consistency factor. And so around that time is where I sold the catalog of the content and I launched what is now, well, I didn't launch right away because I didn't know what I wanted to start, right? I didn't know at the time, what do I want to do outside of just the gaming stuff?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you sold all your Minecraft. How much did you sell this for?
So I'm still technically in contract as we speak,
okay.
But it was above the 7-figure mark.
Damn, that's crazy. So what can I ask? You don't have to tell me who it was, but like what types of people are interested in buying like Minecraft channels? And how do they value that? How do they come to a 7-figure plus valuation?
So it's actually a very big business. Every big YouTuber that has done it. Put it that way. Every single one of them. And unless unless you know about it, you don't really, like, consumers will never know about it. But these companies treat YouTube channels almost like an investment portfolio where they're banking on the odds that the content they're purchasing is going to generate more money it'll generate more money in a certain time span. Hence the reason why they're willing to pay you up front at an evaluation number. So, hey, I'll give you X amount of dollars today, but every dollar that your videos, your old ones make, we keep it for X amount of years.
Okay. So they're expecting they're not even expecting to upload new content. They just want to own the channel for the revenue that it will make in the following years from the content that's already up there.
So they do want you to upload content because I heard rumors that some people took deals and then never uploaded again. And so that was in the agreements. And for most creators, it's in all the agreements too. It's mainly just so you don't take their money and run. Like they want to have safety net of their investment, right?
So they just want to own, they pay you up front to own the revenue that your channel makes, but
on all the old videos. So all new videos you keep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then like after say 3 years, for example, all the old videos, you start collecting that revenue again. So it's only for a set term.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like all your new videos you make, that's just the deal. So there's a handful of different deal structures. There's a back catalog deal, which is like your old videos. And then there's what's called a futures deal, which is they're essentially banking on your future content. Like they'll take, say, 30% of your future revenue and they'll pay you up front for it.
Yeah. That I feel like I'm way less like, I would be way less inclined to do that either from an investor perspective or as a YouTuber, because it's like, I feel like the person's going to try way less hard when they have less stake in their future videos.
I mean, again, it's only for a certain period of time. And a lot of the creators that I know, they leverage, like, whenever you see a YouTuber go from like, you know, making videos, then all of a sudden they buy this like crazy office space. That's why. It's because they got that, you know,
they got the
funding.
YouTube bag.
They got something. And like you see it with like Mr. Beast, like even Mr. Beast, like he got a very big deal and then got this massive warehouse. It didn't just appear from YouTube ad revenue.
Did Mr. Beast sell some of his channel?
Yes.
To buy that?
And this isn't me snooping through someone's documents, but it's literally, it's a public document. You could search it up. Like it is, there's articles about it, of Mr. Beast selling his catalog to these businesses, but practically every large YouTuber has been approached by these people.
So what percent of YouTubers over 1 million subs, let's say, do this type of deal?
If I knew every YouTuber, I'd be able to give you a good accurate answer, but out of my group, 95% of them took a deal.
Dang, really?
So yeah.
So in all likelihood, if my channel keeps growing, I'll be approached and be asked to by a company who wants to earn revenue from my past videos just for them existing.
And the nice part is too, is you're in a completely different niche than gaming, which means your content is evaluated at a higher value than your RPM. So if anything, you're going to do really well. Yeah.
Nice. Wait, so, and then what's the value prop for me essentially? Just that I get the money up front.
You get the money up front,
and it's probably going to be a little less than what it would have been over, you know, the next 3 years if I waited, but I get all of that up front.
Yes and no. Everything's negotiable. Like looking back, me doing that deal was the best thing I could have done. And so
your channel ended up doing poorly.
Yeah,
benefited you. Yeah,
that's a story we'll get into with the whole YouTube Kids thing. But and that was even something I spoke to the company about. I was like, listen, I have no control over this. Like, I'm not trying to pull a fast one here, guys. Like, I'm still uploading. I'm still investing. And so it was if you build up a good catalog of content that does half decent, it doesn't have to rip every single day, but half decent content, a good catalog of good videos that grow steadily over time, you are considered a very good candidate to invest into. Right.
Because they consider that pretty safe. Like they're going to get a return on their money.
Yeah.
How much, if you stopped uploading on your Minecraft channel, let's say in that 2022 period, did you have an expectation of how much it would be able to keep making just from your old catalog per month?
Of the old catalog, if I stopped uploading,
I
don't know, it probably would have made, like, for a couple months, it probably would have made on the low end maybe 80 and on the high end maybe 140-ish, but like not for long. It won't do that. You have to keep uploading content, right? So, but I feel like I probably could have stopped for a couple months and done like 80 to 140 for a few months, and then, you know, it just would have slowly trickled down if I just never uploaded again.
Yeah, that's still solid though for
for
not more posts. Okay, so you made this deal with this company, and then what happened to your channel after?
So it's really rough, man, because like I've been in this game for so long and I love YouTube as a platform. It has changed my life and I love it. But what had happened was my content was put into an algorithm called YouTube Kids. So there's two different websites. There's youtube.com and then there's youtubekids.com. Two different websites. And I was unconsensually put in there. I didn't request to be put in there. My videos are set to not made for kids. My thumbnails contain blood, edgy jokes. My videos contain fake simulated blood, edgy jokes, you know, stuff that isn't applicable to what I like to call the goo goo gaga, the cocoa melon. Because there's no better way of putting it. I encourage you, man, go look at YouTube Kids content. That's peak brain rot. That is brain rot right there. And so anyways, my content was put into YouTube Kids. And so I woke up one day and my real time was spiked like crazy. It was up like an additional 2 million in long form. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. We're just we're in the suggested. Suggested is pushing us. Awesome. And when the revenue data loaded, I realized I was like, why is 2 million long form views, but there's no revenue? That doesn't make sense. It's going to be a glitch. And so I looked into it, and it was all from YouTube Kids. Well, long story short, I went public. I reached out to my reps. I reached out to YouTube. And for about a year and a half, YouTube denied. They were like, no, this isn't happening. Like, this is fact. And I have emails backing up. YouTube didn't believe me. They were like, no, your channel's not on YouTube Kids. No, the screenshots showing in your analytics that it's on YouTube Kids is not real. It's not true. It's not actually on YouTube. I'm like, guys, what are you talking about? And slowly but surely, I could see that my consistent audience was just being faded away. And again, I completely I understand if you make bad videos, YouTube's not going to recommend your content. But we weren't making bad videos at the time. And we were still uploading. We never stopped uploading. So it wasn't an outside factor. And anyways, after about 2 years, I had finally kind of just lost it. And I went on Twitter and I just publicly tweeted it. And I had somebody from YouTube reach out to me, like one of the head guys, and say, hey man, yeah, this is a common problem. I'm sorry this took so long, but I just reached out to so-and-so and so, and you'll be out of YouTube Kids tomorrow. And I'm like, cool, sick, this is great. So eventually I got pulled out of YouTube Kids.
And this was after a year and a half of reduced revenue with no one at YouTube helping you.
This was 2 years in, and our revenue went from that 140 mark. Even after the deal, by the way, we were still doing about 150-ish a month after the deal. And then revenue started slowly to go 150, then 140, then 130, then 120, then 110, and so on and so forth. And after that 2-year point, I mean, the channel makes nothing now. We only do it because I genuinely love making videos. And also too, like, I'm waiting for GTA 6. That's what I'm waiting for.
I had that planned because you were talking about how you would like find new search trends.
Yep.
I was gonna ask, is GTA 6 in the next?
Absolutely. If anybody wants to start a career on YouTube, let it be with GTA 6, because it will. The amount of overnight creators that will start because of GTA 6 will be unimaginable. So GTA 6 will be a big one. I'm waiting for that. But
are you already prepping like the teams ready to like replicate GTA 6 maps and like?
Oh yeah. So funny enough, the room I'm in right now actually is one of my YouTuber friends from that OG group I was telling you about that I met years ago. He pretty much, like, him and I live together for the most part. He's not here right now, but I built him a bedroom in my house. And so I'm in his bedroom right now. And so when GTA 6 comes out, we are going to be essentially no-lifing it for like 3 weeks and like double upload every single day with daily shorts and just like keep going and just do exactly what our strategy is. And we're all stoked for it.
Were you doing longs and shorts at this on your channel, by the way? I didn't even check.
Not really. I did a little bit, but not really. I did a little bit of shorts. Like, there's a couple on there that did really well, but I was a long form guy. That's what I liked.
I think that also is probably a better choice longer term from like a profit standpoint as well.
So at that time though, this is something that I haven't really, like, this story about the whole YouTube Kids stuff is not something I've very much shared. But when our revenue crossed the point where we're not making money anymore, we were losing money every month for about a year and a half straight. I was losing about 50 to 55,000 a month for paying for the main channel. And that's when I was like, okay,
like, you were in the red.
I was in the red 55,000 a month. Like, every single month I was coming out of pocket for it. And this is where I was like, okay, I'm in this weird dilemma with it. Like, I can fire all the team members, but these are people I've known, one, forever, and two, these are star players. Like, these are guys that I have, quote unquote, trenched with. Like, we will stay up on Discord till 3, 4 a.m. If I fire them, I will never find somebody like them again. Sure, maybe I will. But I've been developing a relationship with these people for 15 years, and they're very good. I can't fire these people.
And they learn your exact preferences too, right? Like, retraining someone would take so long.
Exactly. And so we did about a year and a half spending almost 60K a month at a loss. So we were losing a lot of money at that point. But this is right around the time I had actually just previously started the content business. Excuse me. And the content business is something I started before everything went to disaster. So it wasn't like I started the content business as a saving grace, but looking back now, had I not had the content business, we'd be in a whole different position than we are. And I'm grateful I started it, but I started that business because I was bored. Like I wanted to do something I felt more fulfilling with. And so I started that.
And so for the viewers, what is the content business?
The content business is what I like to call, I have a catchphrase for it. It's we sell the car salesman is what we do. So we essentially help local businesses create content on social media, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. And and I'm sure you know this too, Bennett, your YouTube channel gives you a lot of, I don't want to say leverage necessarily, but it opens doors, and it allows you to be able to do certain things that, say, you didn't have a YouTube channel, would have been harder to achieve with. And I realized that with a big Minecraft channel, despite it being kids watching, we had all these brands and whatnot reaching out. But in the back of my head, I was like, okay, I wanted to start an agency of some sort. But I didn't want to do a marketing agency because there's a million people that do that, and they're way better than me. So I was like, okay, what if I did content for higher ticket businesses, right? So a real estate agent that needs, content, like I think his name is Ryan Serhant from New York City. Somebody like him, his YouTube channel is absolutely bringing him deals and making him more money and growing his business. What if I did the same thing, but for other high ticket businesses that are just in my area? So I essentially started what is now my media company. Now, granted, I didn't have the scope of realization of these micro changes we make over the time, but I did start by, I started pitching a couple dealerships or car dealerships, and they didn't blink an eye. They didn't care. I thought in the beginning, oh, maybe
how did you do? Did you just cold pull up to the dealership?
Yeah, man. In the beginning, I was
you're I have a proposal. They're like,
yeah,
we're supposed to be selling you shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, at the time I was like, oh, I have a 5 million subscriber YouTube channel. They're going to look at that and think I'm a genius. They'll pay me no problem. When in reality, they're like, we don't care if you have a 5 million sub YouTube channel. Yeah, get out of here, bro. You want to buy a car or not? And so I was like, oh my God, this is not, they don't care at all. And so I kind of reframed and repositioned my offer. And so what I had done to get my first client at the very least was I worked for free at a car dealership. Well, I didn't physically put in my resume, but I worked to build a YouTube channel at a car dealership for free. I paid to have a videographer come over and shoot the videos, and I paid for an editor to edit the content. I was the creative behind uploading the videos and SEO and everything behind it. And after about 2 or 3 months, we had significant amounts of data, enough that I could start pitching this to other clients. And by month 2, I had closed my first dealership for $55.97 every month. And it was crazy because I was like, oh my God, this worked. It was the first of something. Right. And so I was very excited about that.
What, first of all, for those first 1 or I guess 2 to 3 month trial phase that you did, how did you know what type of car dealership videos would actually convert for people on YouTube?
So,
what type of videos did you post?
So
and how many views did they get?
Great question. I didn't know what would work, but the stars had aligned and I chose the right decision. And I now know why it worked the way it did. So there's 2 types of content on YouTube, especially when it comes to cars or even, luxury homes or jewelry, for example. There's entertainment-based content, which is like a car edit. You see the guys that have their camera and there's a montage. That's entertainment. Those videos get a lot of views, but they don't get a lot of conversions, right? Because there's nothing to buy. There's no incentive for anything. Versus a super boring car review, right? You have a salesperson review this car. The 2025 Honda Civic. Review this car and treat the camera as if that is somebody that walked in and inquired to buy that car. And I actually took inspiration from Doug DeMiro. He's a car reviewer. And he does these super in-depth car review videos. But the thing is, this all stemmed, kind of from this was he'll go to a car dealership and offer them $500 and say, hey, let me borrow that car. I'll go around the block. I'll film it, whatever. And I'll give you a shout out at the end of the video. These car dealerships freak out. They're like, yeah, we get $500 and we get a shout out from a famous YouTuber. Oh my God, this is great. Well, in reality, the dealerships are actually getting schemed because Doug will upload that video. It'll get 2 or 3 million views. It'll make him $50,000 or $60,000. And then he gets to promote car and bids, his business, right? And then the dealership gets a shout out at the end of the video. when everybody stopped, a majority of people stopped watching already. Mm-hmm. So why don't the businesses that sit on the inventory do that? And what's crazy is a lot of these businesses don't realize.
Like why don't they just have like an in-house YouTuber just
well
YouTubing for them?
What I came to realize is these businesses aren't creatives. They might have a social media person that runs their social media, but the odds are this person is trying their best respectfully, but they don't actually, there's no intention or strategy behind it. There's no reasoning. And so I recognized this flaw and I said, okay, well, I can't bring, somebody that's like, you need somebody that actually knows how to do social media to do this. You can't just hire somebody that has an Instagram page with 200 followers that their friends and family follow. Like we need an actual strategy here. So, and that's what it is for a majority of these businesses, by the way, is like they try and some get it, but most don't. And that's the reality. Because if they did get it, they would get results really fast. So to answer your question, the first client I started working with, we got results with them in under 60 days. Like they already had cars being sold. They had leads coming in and they weren't monetized yet, but they were very close to it. Mm-hmm. And they got results very quickly because think about this. If you're in the market to buy a new Honda Civic, for instance, right? You're going to go to two places. You're going to go to Google and you might go to YouTube. But first things first, you'll go to Google, right? Because you're going to look at all the, the listings that are.
I'd go to YouTube.
You go to YouTube, perfect.
That's me, too. Yeah.
I would too. But let's just say the older generation, say 40s and 50s, they go to Google, right?
Yeah, my dad would not go to YouTube. Yeah.
I bet you'll end up there. The only reason I say that is because on Google, when you search up, let's say 2025 Honda Civic, there is a videos slot when you scroll down, which will pull YouTube videos. You cannot pay for that slot through Google Ads. You can't pay for it. The only way you can get there is if you post a video. So we were able to get our clients that were selling a Honda Civic, for example, to be featured on the first page of Google when somebody searched up 2025 Honda Civic right then and there. So that 40, 50, 60-year-old that was on Google searching for a car, well, now all of a sudden, the first video you see there is our client that is doing a full in-depth review with a call to action to come and get an incentive on buying that next car. Yeah. And it did phenomenal. It did amazing.
Wait, and so are these people that actually, is this location specific? Like, do people actually go to the, wherever the Austin, Texas one, if, that's where the video is done, or so do they buy online most of the time?
YouTube's a global platform, right? So you're going to see people from everywhere. But there is, I don't know the right metric for it, but there is some hyper targeting to YouTube because there's the occasional video that pops up here and there that even I catch. And I'm like, that dude's 10 minutes away from me. How does it know? Right?
Yeah.
So there is, it's not like a TikTok where there's a For You page that's like, oh, this is your region, let's watch this. Yeah. But there is something that is doing it because we have people from all around the world calling our clients, but then we also have people that walk in the door and buy cars from our clients. So there is something totally. But what has been
is the idea, like, let's say you do this for a car company, is the idea to get people to go to that actual specific dealership from the review, or to just get people to order the car from that review wherever their local dealership is?
So, I mean, either or. I think the all end all goal.
Are you getting more of one?
Yeah, we get a lot of walk-ins. We get a lot of walk-ins because a lot of these dealers have territories. At the location
that the dealer recorded it. Okay.
Yeah, so we get a lot of dealers have what's called territories. So if you live in a different state, right? Let's say Houston and Austin. A Houston Toyota store, I can't confirm if this is actually the case in America. I know it is in Canada at least. Mm-hmm. The Houston store couldn't sell to a gentleman in Austin unless they don't have the car itself, right? Mm-hmm. So then you can do that swap because it's fair. But if not, they'll say, hey, just go to the Austin store. It's 10 minutes up the street from you, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Again, I can't confirm if that's the same way in America. That's the way it is in Canada. Mm-hmm. But the interesting part about it is that the end goal here was to build a channel for these dealerships so they didn't need to spend money all the time on ads, like on Google ads or Facebook ads. So like a lot of these companies are spending like ridiculous amounts of money, 6 figures a year easily. These normal car dealerships that you and I drive by every single day are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every year on Google ads. And people are starting to realize that, say you had to pay $100 5 years ago to get 100,000 impressions. That same $100 today might only get you 20K. The cost of ads are going up and you're getting less and less and less. There needs to be a change here. And so this is where we're kind of targeting the organic traffic. Like we're targeting the ad traffic and going directly organic, with no advertising whatsoever, like externally, and it's working remarkably, like incredibly.
And it's mostly, I understand, it's mostly through search, like people who were looking up about the car anyways. Before you came in, they would look up the car, get no result, or get like a mediocre result, and then go, and then either not know anything about it or go, I don't really think this car is worth buying. Now they look it up, they get a video as the first thing recommended, even when they look it up on Google. In-depth review showing why the car is good, and with a clear call to action, and that causes them to actually buy, which makes the 5.5K easily worth it for the car companies.
And like the big goal for us too is like every channel that we want to work with, like our goal is to have their ad revenue cover our retainer, because then everything else is a win, right? And another way that these dealerships specifically are monetizing is like usually they'll pay for leads, right? So let's just say you're in the market to buy a car and I knew that, the dealership would toss me $50 for your contact information so they could try and sell you a car. And the one dealership that we work with, I forget how much they spent on leads, but they get on average, I don't have the exact stat anymore, but I was tracking their clicks up until about a year ago. And then they moved it in-house. Now they have their own CRM with all their clicks. But up until I was tracking, they were getting 2,000 leads a month from YouTube. So if you calculate that times 50, it's a lot of money they didn't have to pay for.
Damn,
a lot.
Yeah.
So they're getting a lot out of the whole YouTube ecosystem. And our end goal here is to build a brand. Like that car that's sitting in the showroom floor gets 8.5 million searches a month. Why isn't the dealership or that business trying to leverage that? They're so conditioned to it. It's just another Honda Civic. But online, there is literally people's businesses built around showcasing that. Why aren't you?
Yeah. This really reminds me, I had a guy on my podcast who he basically runs like a video game reselling business. And for that reason, he's on top of like a ton of inventory of like really, really rare games, really, really expensive video games, like all of this sort of stuff. And he's had a huge success starting a YouTube channel from it. Because they sell the games, right? So he's sitting on all this inventory. He goes to his friend who like he co-owns the company with and is like, dude, why don't we just make videos about this stuff? They start making the videos and like huge increase in sales, and they're getting ad revenue, and they're getting sponsorships. And it's all the only reason they can do it when no one else can is because, again, they have all this inventory that they already have that they can't like do anything with until it gets sold anyways.
For sure.
So I feel like that's a very similar scenario.
Absolutely. It's such a big leverage play as of right now because everybody's so focused on ads and not organic. And I think people that pay attention are going to see a large shift in the market. I think ads are always going to be a big play, but I think ads are just getting to that point where they're far too expensive. And that same money you're investing in ads, if you just invested it in organic, building your organic, the payoff
is way higher
down the line.
I agree. Well, I actually think organic is now starting to become commodified, essentially. I don't know if you saw any of like my recent videos on WAP, but like WAP is essentially allows anyone to like start an organic campaign. So just say, I'm going to pay $1 per 1,000 views, and anyone who wants to try to clip this up and get those views for me can. Just start your own account and just try to get the views. And like anyone can contribute to it. So I think we're going to start seeing like instead of people running campaigns for ads, we're going to start to see, and you know how that trend that you described to me with ads, where like it started, you could get a really good deal on it. You could pay like a low CPM and get a ton of impressions, and then it started going down. I think the same exact thing is going to happen with organic as it becomes more efficient to like commodify that. But I think we're on the trend early, and there's a lot of opportunity with it.
Absolutely.
So what are the expenses that goes into? So you get paid 5.5K, for example, for us like a retainer. Do you keep the ad revenue? Do you get?
No, we let our clients keep all the ad revenue. Our objective here, and like this is our motto for the entire business, is we want to, my agency specifically, some people are different, right? Everybody's going to run their business differently. But mine is ran with the intention of what I like to call white glove service. We know how shady a lot of these companies can be. And like anybody would rather take 5.5K and take the ad revenue, because why not? I want to have these clients for years, not just 6 months. And like that has been our intention from day one. Is like, if we can bank a really good relationship for these people for 5, 6, 7 years from now, that's far more than, 6 months of paying a Stripe invoice.
Mhm.
So we let them keep all the ad revenue. We charge a flat retainer every single month. It doesn't change. And the only additional thing that we will do, and this is, something that we're actually doing our first one very soon, is we will source brand deals and take a commission. But the more intriguing one is we'll do those content acquisition deals and take a commission. So we'll take 40 or 50% of either a brand deal or a content acquisition deal when we present it to you.
Okay, so you would present them with, like let's say the company that bought your channel, or some of the old videos on your channel, the revenue from them for a couple of years. You introduce that person and take a commission for that.
So not even that, like
deal is
I'll do all the logistics, right? Again, like white glove service. Why should I have to bother them when I can just come to them one day and say, hey guys, you have a $500,000 evaluation. Does this interest you? And so like, that's just how I would like to do it. And so it's funny because I have a meeting with them tomorrow morning for one of our clients' channels.
And then what does your profit look like? How do you actually implement the services of like, you get the 5.5K. What do you do? Like,
cool. Yeah. So the best part about this is I'm not a pro videographer. I'm not an editor. Okay. And I say this, I make this joke with all my videographer friends that work inside of my agency because all my cameras, I run auto. Like I don't know how to do manual mode at all. I'm garbage, bro. So we hire freelance videographers.
This is what I use to record. Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Absolutely. And so we hire freelance videographers for two reasons. I had a friend of mine who is running with my agency now, and he was doing wedding photography and videography. And he's like, man, like, this is great. I'll do a wedding gig. They'll fly me out. They'll pay me 4 or 5K. It's great. But the problem is when I'm done, and I'm like kind of looking for work. Like I may go 4 months with no work, and like that's really stressful. And I'm like, yeah, that is stressful. That sucks. I was like, okay, well, what if hypothetically, instead of me hiring a camera guy hourly, what if I hired a freelancer, somebody that is significantly better, has all the equipment, I can train them to go exactly, here's the product we're looking to achieve, make sure we achieve this. But instead of paying somebody hourly, for instance, I pay a freelancer for one specific reason. They have a reason to deliver a phenomenal product. Because if they say something stupid to the client, for example, and the client gets mad and doesn't like them and they leave us, for example, well, not only do I lose money, but so do they. They have a reason to deliver a phenomenal product for the same reason that I do. Instead of paying someone hourly, for example, if they want to leave, they're like, I don't care. I'm making 39. No, not everybody's like that, for example, but I've seen it happen. And so I'm like, okay, if I can get somebody that actually, you can't pay for someone's emotional investment to care about something, but you can get them to care about it if they have just as much of a reason to care about it as you do. So we hire freelance videographers. They have all the, the equipment, and they might cost us $200-300 to do the entire day's a shoot for one client. And then we have an editor, which will cost us $100 or $200 per video, depending on, it goes by length. So like some of our clients make really long videos that'll cost, above the 200 mark, but some clients make short videos, like around 9 to 10 minutes. And those would be like $100. And then my biggest expense is actually my sales team. But we run at about a 70% margin in our agency.
Wow. That's really good. Wait, so are you scripting out though, or coming up with the ideas for these videos?
No, I come up with
so what are the different positions to make sure that this team operates perfectly? I assume you have like a manager, like who, the creative who figures out what the videos are going to be, a thumbnail guy, an editor guy, the photographer, videographer guy.
So it's actually it's a little bit simpler. What we do is we always ask the client to just pick 4 cars, because a lot of times we work in the car business, like car dealerships, right? So not everybody that starts a content business like this is going to work with car dealerships. They might work with jewelry stores or realtors. So I always tell the client, hey, I want you to just go ahead and pick 4 cars that you have, right? There's a lot of logistics. Sometimes something on the website's not actually there, and it's just, hiccups. So I say, hey, pick 4 cars, just make sure they're clean, make sure you give us a salesperson to be on camera and, represent your brand. And then we have our videographers, like our videographers already know what to do. They already know what to look for. They already know exactly, like all of our videos are pretty much copy and paste, like in terms of the structure. Yeah. And so we have our videographers go, they come with the microphones, the drones, the cameras, whatever it is that we're shooting, and they mic everybody up and they get started shooting. The second the shoot's done, the videographers come home, start uploading the footage. And then we have an automation that tells us, hey, there's a new video, add it to we call it the editing queue. And then we add all the videos to the editing queue. We ping the editors about it, and then the editors start editing. And then once the editors are done editing, it is sent to our management team, which does both quality control and upload. So our management team handles both thumbnails, titles, scheduling, etc., and then all the short form too. So we'll use like an AI software to just clip up the long form into short form content. So then we can upload, instead of just 4 videos a month for the page, we can do almost daily, factoring in shorts. And then that's it. So it's really a 3-position team outside of just myself. We have our editing team, our management team, and our camera team.
Yeah, and your flow is record, get it. Once they're done, upload it. It auto pings the editors who edit it, and then managers make sure the editors didn't slip up, and then add in the thumbnail and all the upload settings.
Bingo.
Dang, that's pretty clean. And you can operate at 70%. So at the end of each month, you're making like 3.5 to like $4,000 take home.
So the nice part with this, right, is like, again, I said you could run the exact agency I have and make a 70% margin and just chill, right? And be like, all right, cool. I did the service. The videos are doing great. My clients are happy. But my sales rep, I'm very lucky to be working with her. She actually worked in the car business. And so she's been in the car business for 15 years. And she also stands by the same motto I do, white glove service. So when we make, like, we do well in terms of profit margin, but that doesn't mean we're done. Like, we want to be the best business that these companies have ever worked with, because we want to bank a long-term relationship. So we might run retargeting ads, and we don't charge the client anything for it. They might be hosting a cars and coffee event or like a sale event. We might send a videographer over there, no cost for it. We will go and do these things, little things here and there.
Cut a bit more into your margin.
Just keep going.
Who cares? Yeah.
But who cares? Because at the end of the day, like, I want to have clients that love us, but most importantly, refer us. So like, our biggest growth tactic right now is word of mouth and referral. And so like, for us, like, that has been the best play, to invest another $300 or $400, not even every month, like every 3 months, into individual clients. And it goes a long way. And so that's what we've been doing. And so like, it gives us a lot of wiggle room to be able to expand the team and test out new kind of avenues for the product to make it better overall.
Does it feel safer having like actual clients paying you retainers than it does like having all your YouTube or your revenue rely from like a YouTube channel?
Yes. I know people say it all the time, bro, but like, genuinely, I can sleep easy at night, because I know. And the nice part is too, is like, I don't send invoices. We do with subscriptions. So they sign up on a Stripe billing subscription.
Oh yeah.
And it's just auto billed every month.
Yeah, dude, Stripe. Yeah, it's really easy to forget about the Stripe things you're subscribed to. Yeah.
The nice part is though, is like, they don't forget about us, because like, we talk to them every single month. So they're like, oh, hey guys, what's going on? It's not like they're like, oh, am I still paying for this thing? No, it's like, we talk to them all the time. Like,
yeah,
our sales team and our client relations team, we talk to these guys a lot. But yeah, it's a lot more peaceful, because like, the thing is like, I know exactly what's coming in and out, and I also don't need to get 1 million views on a video. Like, if a client's video gets 5K views, they'll get 4, 5, 6 walk-ins and 2 sales. Perfect.
Yeah,
that's huge.
How much profit is that for them? Probably
a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. And
probably
that's
like
assuming a video gets 5K.
Yeah.
That's just assuming it's 5K.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's a lot more peaceful, and it feels like I'm actually building something a little bit differently now, because I know what's coming in and out. We can kind of budget for investments and things we want to move forward on. But that's now my content business.
That's very interesting. What I find is like, as an entrepreneur, I think it's echoed in your story, but I want to see if you agree, is that actually every single like hustle you do is actually just what you get from it is really not the money. It's really how you can use that for the next most valuable hustle, essentially.
Absolutely.
So like, for me, I started, again, juggling on social media. I don't know if you saw it.
I can't juggle, bro. So let me see. Damn. Yeah, that's good, bro.
I know. I got all the.
That's crazy, bro.
Anyway, that's how I started on social media.
Nice.
You could check out Fly Juggler.
I'm gonna have to.
But anyway, yeah, like that's how I started, and I was like, okay, like this is somewhat work. I finally started making some money from this. And that's when I was like, all right, let me get an editor, because I know like that's how I could buy my time back and like start to slowly scale it up. And that's when I was like, I met the guy doing the animal stuff, and I was like, wait, bro, this dude is making like 10K plus a month, whereas like my juggling stuff is making way less, and he's not even involved in it.
Mhm.
But like, he doesn't have an editor. He doesn't know how to find an editor.
Mhm.
And I was like, wait, I could just use the editor that I already have for this on the automation stuff instead and actually scale that. And that went really well. And then it's like, okay, then I want to talk about this on YouTube and how I did it. And it's like, well, I have the skills ready for that because I already had all this time practicing on camera and I was already ready for that step. It's so funny how every next step is always, for me at least, has always been like, well, it only works because actually not any of the money that you made, but really for all the skills and teams and everything that you developed from your first hustle.
Absolutely.
It seems like the same thing happened with you.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we were talking about this before we jumped on the pod, but listen, like I get a lot of people want to find ways to make money, right? And like, all the power to you. You should. Like, we live in this digital world now. There are lots of ways. And one reality that I came to the exception of is like, almost all the ways, for the most part, with a grain of salt, for the most part, everything that you see people talking about online, you can actually, make money with it. But the difficult part is how you do it, the type of patience you'll have with it, and how much you actually care to do it. So if I want to launch an e-com dropshipping store because I need to get $200K a month to buy a Lambo in a Miami penthouse, well, my intentions aren't pure. I'm just doing it because I want these things. And so when something doesn't go my way, I get pissed off and I just, whatever. I have never, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, I have never met anybody that actually cared to try as hard as they can and not set an end date to it, fail at something. All of the people that I've met personally that actually try to do something and like they wake up and they try to do better than they did yesterday. And not just like, say, oh, let's lock in and then like not do it, but like actually try. They end up getting somewhere. Like, what if you stopped making content when you were juggling? Would you be here now? Probably not. But like, you did not stop. You kept going. You innovated.
It was like 1 to 2 months before I really got any views with it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with your Minecraft channel.
100%. And so I think there's a massive opportunity for people to be able to build something great, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of stuck looking at the marketing that other creators use towards it, like the flashy lives. And I've always been a big believer, like, if you're going to invest the time and energy to learn a skill, at the very least, it should be a skill that is going to walk with you for a long time, not just a 2-month or 3-month facade or a thing that you did. I think it should be something that you can, build for the next 5-6 years and make money in the process, but learn the skills and get really good at it. And, who knows, let's see where it takes you. Right. So it's what I see a lot online. And so it's, I just hope that people recognize that, right? Because a lot of people want to be able to do great things and a lot of people can do great things, but people they get kind of stuck in the marketing of it, right? From other influencers.
Yeah. My take is that I feel like you should the first thing you should do if you haven't started anything like to try to make money is like get good at a skill that you will actually be, as you said, like dedicated to and will want to keep doing. For me, what happened was after like, I was in college. I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm going to major in. I was undecided. I was like, all right, if I'm going to remain undecided, I got to figure some way to try to make money. I tried drop shipping and I found that like the part that was actually fun for me was trying to make our product go viral. We had these like wallets, these like men's, it's kind of like Ridge Wallet, this company. It's kind of like a knockoff Ridge Wallet. Essentially, that's what we were doing. And I was just making videos about it. And out of all the different aspects of it, like, okay, the web design, anything, that was the most fun by far. So then I was like, all right, let me try other things with that. And like the skill of going viral, you and I both know, is itself a high value skill.
Absolutely.
But it can never be scaled past on its own to anything past like the other skills like management or bringing on new people or code which you are now implementing with AI. But yeah, I think it's building the base skill first.
Absolutely.
And getting top 1% at that, and then going, okay, now how do we scale this out?
100%. I've always said to people too, is like, I think learning how to utilize this, you don't need a big fancy thing. You don't need a big fancy camera. If you learn how to use this to your advantage, like content, you already have a big advantage over a lot of people. Every big skill, like what you said with dropshipping, it required you to learn content. And then how do I make viral content? You were making content. Now all of a sudden you are a content creator with a big content community. right? And so I've always been a big believer that out of a lot of the things out there, I personally believe that content is kind of a versatile weapon. It's a Swiss Army knife that can be used in almost any niche ever. You know, you think about
100%. Yeah.
any niche out there. What do they do to promote their product? Content, right? Everything needs content. So if you can just learn to shoot this vertically or horizontally, you're already a step or two ahead than a lot of other people are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like I that's why I think, like, for example, learning the active versions of those things. Like, there's a lot of people making a lot of money with like TikTok Shop right now.
Yep.
And someone might go, "Oh, well, that's not scalable." It's like, yeah, well, that's the first stepping stone of getting a grasp of how to go viral and sell a product online. That's the skill that you roll over into whatever the next business you do is, you know. It's not like that's not the end plan.
Exactly. You know? I think a lot of the things with TikTok Shop, like, yeah, people are making a killing with it, but I think it's year one of drop shipping back in 2017. Like, there's you know, and so totally can some random person start a TikTok Shop and make money right now? Absolutely. But it kind of goes back to what we originally stated was, like, it won't last long. And I think people, when they get that, the one thing that I've noticed with people too is, like, they'll get money, they'll make 5K, and then they'll just spend it like it was nothing. I'm guilty of it too. Like, when I was in high school and I made that 30K, I spent $16,000 on Yeezys like an idiot. It was so stupid, so stupid. But, like, that was something that I fell for. Thankfully, I learned. But a lot of these guys, you know, it's like, you can totally do something like TikTok Shop and make some money, but you need to mentally go, all right, this is going to be what I'm going to use as a cash flow getter. That's what I'm going to get for my cash flow. And then I'm going to move it into this. And that's what I'm going to pursue. Right. Instead of just saying, oh, I've never met one person that is a full-time TikTok shopper. And if you have, I'd love to see them in 3 years from now and see if that's still a thing.
Yeah.
So
what do you do with money once you've gained some?
The best thing I did when I first made some money was I put it all away. Like, all of it. So my dad, shout out my dad, he made me put it away. I drained my bank account. I left $2,000 in there and I invested all of it. My next big investment that I did make that I was very grateful I made was buying a house. And I somehow managed to get a mortgage when I was 18 or 19 years old, on, like, sole mortgage provider. But that was probably the best way to park my money, was in a home. This was before, you know, the virus and whatnot. But where I'm from, our markets it's practically unaffordable to live here, like, at all. And so I had gotten very lucky in that regard, just from timing things. But parking your money where it's not easy to move it, right? Like, if you have a Robinhood account, for example, it's pretty easy to sell it and transfer it back into your bank account, which is tempting to some people, right? And so I've always been a big believer, if it's, like, harder to get rid of, but it's a positive asset to your life, chances are you won't touch it for a long time, right? Especially if you don't need it.
Yeah, this is why I'm a huge proponent of, like, tax shelters and retirement accounts, if you don't know where to put, like, old money, because there's a penalty if you take that out early. So that's going to be money that you don't want to touch unless you have, like, a really good reason to, you know?
Absolutely. No.
On the topic of, like, things that, like, scale and, like, repeat, like, you know how you said, like, with clients, you want to keep them and, you know, have recurring. I think one thing that that we both know is, like, huge with this is, like, personal brand and personal reputation. And so you have a whole channel just separately. I don't know how much of this is because you just like making videos and how much is, like, okay, well, I also want to build my personal brand. But tell me about this channel as well.
Yeah, man. So a little bit of backstory to this. I have been filming business videos for years that I never posted because I was, quite frankly, despite the YouTube channel, despite the business, I didn't have the confidence. I thought people were going to make fun of me because, you know, they'd go back and go, oh, well, he just makes Minecraft videos. So I never posted them.
That's so sad.
It is sad. And, like, it was kind of an internal battle, and let it show that it doesn't matter if you know, do something. You can still lack with confidence issues in some regard. And so even after my channel was growing, I thought I didn't have the confidence to be able to speak about it despite having that credibility. So the big thing with my personal brand is that YouTube channel is a no affiliation of my main page whatsoever. I've never promoted it. I've never linked it ever. And the objective is I want to reach entrepreneurs that are like-minded like me. And I know a lot of people say that when they're starting their own personal brand, but I've kind of gone through the ups and downs of our online guru world, we'll call it. I've seen a lot of these guys. I know a handful of these guys, and I've also come to realize what I don't want to be like these guys. And I genuinely, like, I kind of look for, when I meet fans in person or when I meet people that watch my videos, I get a lot of younger people that are like, oh, I love your Minecraft videos. But I really want to start meeting people that are like, hey, man, like, you inspired me to start my business, and this is what I did. And like, that is a mission of mine, is like, I want to inspire and help people. I don't care if that channel has 200 subs. It's really my objective. And that's where too, like, again, like, I'm treating the same strategy I did with the main page of this one. Like, I just post. And like, it's going to click, it's going to work. And I know it's going to, because it will. So that's kind of my objective with that. And then I mainly just use my YouTube channel to drop, you know, value and vlogs and kind of talk about what I do with some of my students. So
yeah, we'll leave the link to both of those in the description. So they can check it out.
Cheers, man.
What types of videos do you make on there? Is it's just like how you did what you did with this car stuff?
So it's all content agency stuff. So it's all related to that. And there's the occasional vlog in there, but it's only usually when I'm kind of traveling with my other YouTuber friends that I'll do it. Because quite frankly, like, when I'm home, just me and the girlfriend, and we just work. That's it. Like, I don't do anything when I'm here. So, but it's nice because I can stay focused. But that channel is all related to how to start and scale a content. Like, you could literally watch those YouTube videos and start one. Like, most gurus will gatekeep stuff. Like, they'll, like, you know, leave out a part. You could I have more free, like, I have a Discord community of like free members that just join, kind of like yours. I have more free people. Like, I probably have like 200 free people. And like, every couple of days, I'm like, I'll get a message. Oh, I just signed a client. I just signed a client. I just got a client. I just did that. I'm like, this is crazy. And it's all just from YouTube videos.
That's
and
awesome.
It's like, some of these clients are like, yeah, some people get like a $300 a month client. Some people get like a $2,000 a month client. And it's crazy to see, because like, these are ordinary people that are just trying. And like, granted, not everybody signs a client, because like, I've also come to realize that like, you have to put in the efforts and the work to be able to do said thing. And like, you can't sign a client from your bed. Well, I mean, maybe if you're a crazy cold caller, but the moral of the story is that like, there's a lot of these people that are just watching these videos and they're getting something out of it. That's all I'm looking for. Like, I want to meet people in person, them be like, hey, thank you for that video. Like, it changed my life, or like, it made me start this. Yeah. So that's kind of the main approach.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. It's like, it's so cool to see people that are on like the similar mission as I am. So that's awesome. Absolutely, to see. Man. And yeah, I think that brings us to our end. I normally like to end with like something fun. Cool. So I'll ask, what was your favorite Minecraft server back in the day?
OG Mineplex was pretty cool. Me and my friends used to play all the mini games on there, bro. Yeah. OG Mineplex goes crazy. Hypixel
I would play the
sweaty,
Super Smash Bros.
Yo, yes. Yes.
That was super fun.
Yes. That was amazing. Yeah. Hypixel was too sweaty for me. I kept losing. Those guys are too good.
Agreed. The Bed Wars guys were too good.
Yeah.
The MCSG Badline, I was tryharding on both of those.
You were a Badline sweat?
I was a PvPer.
Oh my god, you were the type of guy that like I'd break my keyboard because of you, bro. Like, I'd be so pissed.
Really?
I'd be so pissed.
No, yeah, I got into like I did like a lot of MCSG, and then I did like Badlion and like a little bit of UHC as well. And then that was my Minecraft journey.
That's good.
But yeah, well, Shark, Andrew, thank you for coming on the pod and sharing.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I hope to see where this is at in a year. How many clients do you have right now?
We are sitting at 11 clients right now.
Okay, we'll see maybe in a year. We'll check back and see how many you have at that point. I'll be super excited to see.
Let's do it, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Peace.
Take care.